So we are gonna just jump right to it, but we know that we have the opportunity to have parent-teacher conferences and know a lot about what goes on in the classroom, but a lot of us parents wonder, why are they running a mile in gym, and what is this art project that looks very pretty, and what are they singing in music? So here we are, ready to hear what that curriculum looks like. So thank you, PFAs, for being here, and I will just turn it over to you.
Thank you, everybody. So I'm going to share my screen. We have a short presentation with some slides for the special area teachers to share with you about all of their areas. And we're so excited to be able to do this today. So thank you for allowing us the time. So I'm going to pull up my screen. Where is it? One minute. I think it's a little. Do I have sharing rights, Maria?
So Maria just ran to drop off her the Chromebook for
Oh, okay.
Grayson or Easton, but yes, I'm seeing on my end that multiple participants can share.
Okay. Share screen.
Yeah, I'm seeing Laura start sharing the screen.
Great. Okay, let me just move the box. There we go. All right, we're going to start off with Mr. Hallgren.
Just move it up to Laura, to the top. That's Alyssa. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, here we go. Sorry.
One more. There we go.
All right.
All right. Hi, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Wyatt Hallgren. I'm the PE teacher here. I've been here for 25 wonderful years, and I've had the privilege of teaching so many students here at Weston, and I've truly enjoyed it. So this is really cool for me to sort of explain to you what we kind of do together here at Hurlbut. So the first thing, if you look at the column on the right where it says units, those are just basically almost all the units that we do. Some are single week, some get repeated, some are multiple week units. And just to highlight a couple of the ones that the kids truly love the most, they love the parachute. It's a great early on activity that the kids love. They love the climbing unit. Anytime they get to climb the net in the middle of the gym and do some of the fun activities in there, they truly enjoy that. Scooters is always a great one, and scooters are not what you're used to. The scooter actually looks like this now. It's this big, massive triangular scooter, and the reason why we use these is, one, they move so much better, and two, they're very stable, so the kids truly enjoy them. Gymnastics is a huge super fun unit for the kids to do as well, because it's something that they don't normally get to do, and they truly enjoy it. They thrive at it. They want to keep on doing all these. We have 7 different activities going on during that unit, and they truly love it. And then they just love a bunch of other ones. They love just coming in and seeing a circuit, seeing 8 or 9 or 10 different things, whether it's an eye-hand circuit or a throwing circuit, or they love these different activities that they don't normally pick up and do at home. So as you look on the right side here, those are the units that we have. And what they do is they all tie into the concepts on the left. So if you take a look at the concepts over there, and you take a look at something just like throwing, okay? Well, throwing is in many, many different things here that we do. On the right-hand side. So whether it's the cooperative games that we're doing, whether it has to do with a basketball throw, whether it has to do with a baseball type throw. So when you look at a concept, the concept is interwoven into many of the units over here on this side. So same thing with gross motor, the way we move, it changes per unit, what we're doing. The other thing I want to touch on over here is cooperation, communication, problem solving, and strategy. Now, these are, 4 key concepts that we try to incorporate into our units. The cooperation, just that team building, working together, learning how to communicate and talk to each other to solve a problem, or just to work properly within the activity that we're doing that day. And then even just playing some of the fun cooperative games we have, sure, the kids are understanding how to play the games, but as they play them more and do them more, they're learning how to strategize themselves, and they come up with ideas and they tell me. And it's great to see the minds think. So it's not just playing the game, it's actually learning how to play the game and trying to be the best you can at it at times. And it's really neat to see the kids' minds work that way. It truly is. The next thing that I want to talk about, just so you understand, because this is a K-5 meeting, is that what I do here is a building block, and it builds onto what happens up at WIS. So we might not touch on everything. Like if you look at basketball here, it's just basketball skills. There's no game. All right. It's a lot of skills, it's a lot of little fun activities, but they are not ready for that yet. So it is a building block to go on to WIS, where they will then take on more skills and maybe get into more game type activities. Same things. If you look over there, you see balloons. Balloons is a building block into many different activities, but it leads really into like a volleyball type thing. We don't do anything like that down here, but just the floating of the balloon, seeing how it moves in the air and tracking it leads into something like that. So as you look at the concepts and you look at the units, they are building blocks for these kids, and that they take from here, and then they go on to WIS. If you could hit to the next slide, Laura. So what I have here is I just have 4 little basic pictures, and they all tell a little bit of a different story. The upper right, where you see that puck rolling on the ground, that is one of our warm-up games, and it's just called pucks. And what it is, it's a simple tag game where 6 kids are kicking a puck around the gym at a time, and they're trying to kick the puck into the foot of someone who doesn't have one. But what they're really doing is they are running the whole time. After 5 to 10 minutes of this, they are gassed, they are tired, they are moving. So it's a great cardio activity, even though these kids just come in and say, oh, we get to play pucks, get to kick the puck around today. They are motoring and they are moving. On the bottom left over there, you see the kids running around in the gym, and that's a tag game. It's called tunnel tag. And it's definitely a cooperation type game. It's a communication type game. Kids get tagged, they have to make a tunnel, they have to find friends to come help, or they have to have their friends be looking around to see what's going on so they can come help them. And it's just a fun little game. If you look on the top left where the boat is, the reason I put this picture out here is because exploration on their own is something that's great, and that can happen in PE. And this boat, I know it's eventually going to go because it's old and I never want to see it go. I'm going to be sad when it goes. But the amount of exploration and playing the kids do on this, and the creativity that comes out of it when we go out and use the playground, it's amazing. It's so much fun to watch and to see, and the kids love it. It doesn't matter whether you're preschool, kindergarten, 1st or 2nd grade, they are on that boat, and they are loving it. The reason I put the bottom right in is we just went through a pandemic, and I don't know if you even know where those 2 rocks are. If you come out my back door of my gym and you go to the right, there's a little grass area there, and those are those 2 rocks. And during COVID, that was like my lifeline. I was able to get outside, get the kid breaks, and the kids loved it, and they thrived there. And once again, created their own little games and activities there. So I just wanted to highlight that also as well, because I wanted you to realize what we've had to do, and how the kids are resilient, and how they've thrived through this, and how it's now become a part of my curriculum, which I've never used it in the first 22 years of my entire time here, and now I love it. So we're constantly learning and growing. So I thank you for letting me explain what I do, and yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Hogren. And now Ms. Leonetti will go on to PE with the preschool and health.
So good morning. My name is Alyssa Leonetti, and I teach health and pre-K PE here at Hurlbut. I just recently started in February, and I've absolutely loved it. It's such a great place to be. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, because I haven't really got to meet a lot of the parents at home. I went to Westcon for my undergrad in health. I played softball there. I also coach softball now. And now I'm going for my master's in health PE and coaching online. So yeah, to get into the pre-K PE, I see them 1 time a week for 30 minutes. The overall goal is to develop those fine and gross motor skills and locomotor and non-locomotor movements. That way, when they get to Wyatt and kindergarten, they have those skills and have the body awareness and spatial awareness and things like that. Some things that we've been working on recently are locomotor skills like jumping, crawling, and skipping. We do a lot of different activities. Every other couple of weeks, we do an obstacle course because they really love that. And we've also been working on kicking skills, which helps to develop those fine motor skills. And like I said before, the goal is just kind of to prepare them when they get to Wyatt. They have those overall body awareness, spatial awareness, those kinds of things. And then here are just some pictures. So for our first picture all the way to the left, we have a student that's working on balance and coordination on one of the obstacle courses that we did a couple weeks ago. Our next picture, we have a student that is working on the underhand rolling skill that we use for bowling, which they really loved. And then our next picture, we have a student that is doing 2-foot jumps in a zigzag pattern on another obstacle course that we did. And then finally, we have a student that is working on their crawling skills. They really love the tunnels. That's probably like their highlight of pre-K PE, so I try to incorporate it as much as I can. And then for the health piece, I also see them 1 time a week for 30 minutes, K through 2. We have overall 6 general units that are safety, feelings and emotions, dental health, body systems, nutrition, and safe behaviors, including substances. And that unit kind of just talks about some medications, how to know when things are safe versus unsafe. And the overall goal here is just for the students to adopt these healthy behaviors in their own lives outside of the classroom. What we've been working on now, we're finishing up our nutrition unit. So we've been talking about the 5 different food groups, why those groups are important, and why it's important to be eating a balanced diet. And then here are a couple pictures. So our first picture, we have a student that completed one of our body systems worksheets that we were talking about the respiratory system and the function and the importance of the ribs and the diaphragm and breathing. Our middle picture was when we were working on our body systems unit and how to keep our body systems healthy. So part of that was to participate in physical activity every day. So we kind of got some movement in there to be a good example and to get them moving and get them active. And then our last picture here was another assignment from the body systems unit where students were identifying the muscular system. So overall, our goal here is just to have them learn these healthy behaviors and want to practice them in their own lives and get them excited about it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And now we're going to move on to musical. Ms. Cardamone.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Cardamone. This is my 8th year here at Hurlbut. I can't believe it. Time flies. We meet for music 2 times a week for 30 minutes. And at the K2 level, we're basically trying to build a foundation for their future musical experiences. We sing, we play games, we create, we write music. And as they go through the grades, we work on getting more comfortable and confident with their performing skills within the classroom walls. So by the time they get to the intermediate school, they are confident and comfortable and ready for their live performances. So we have 4 standards that we go through: creating, performing, responding, and connecting. And to the right, I just kind of gave you a basic quick outlook of what we do within each grade. But within all of those topics, we're learning songs, we are moving to music, we're playing instruments, playing lots of singing games, which is this kid's favorites. And as they get older, we're learning melodies and rhythms. And that's basically just kind of scratching the surface of what we do. So here are some of our favorite activities we've done this year. The students always love writing their own rhythmic patterns, whether it's just writing them or creating them with popsicle sticks. They love that. The bottom right is one of their favorite singing games called Apple Tree. It gets them up and moving, but the song also helps us learn our rhythms, ta and tt, and some of our solfege with so and me. The kids love the instruments. They love using the scarves, working in groups. One of my favorites is our singing coaster up on the top left. The kids get to follow the roller coaster with their singing voice to explore the highs and lows of their voices to get us ready to sing. But I mean, as long as the students leave my classroom with a smile, that's all that really matters to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cardamone. And thank you, PTO. One of their philanthropy fundings was that gorgeous rug you see in the pictures that has the musical symbols on them, I'll call them, right, Jessica? That's
yes,
the children love
the
that
carpet, yes,
and is really integrated into the curriculum as well.
Thank you.
And Senora, buenos dias.
Buenos dias. So my name is Rosa Maria Perales Barrero. Was born and raised in Barcelona in Spain. And this is my first year here in the wonderful district of Weston. And I'm teaching kindergarten through third grade. So I'm also on WIS and where I'm now actually. So what I do is at Harvard, I teach 4 times a week, 10 minutes each time. And it's a completely immersion program, which means that there is no English at all. So it's a bit different than the other teachers, 4 times, because in world languages, frequency is more important. Our goal is to give students a beginning communication skill. It's just we're only going to try to reach the low novice, and always especially touching the receptive, not so much the productive, meaning the students won't be so much as talking and writing, of course, as much as understanding and understanding and trying to read a little bit, or trying to understand what's on the board, trying to read, even if they just oversleep because they are sponges, learn some words and songs and all that, and obviously they also get some intercultural competence. I just wrote down some standards. We have so many standards in world language, but I just put some of them there as an example. And then I put also some of the units that we have. These are the units that we have right now, even if I think we're going to be changing some of them this summer. So these are the ones right now in kindergarten and first grade and second grade. So, like I said, they might change. Kindergarten, I think, might stay, but first grade and second grade, they might be different. But, and they might change depending on the popularity of the students. And the next, the pictures, they will be in the next one. Yes. So what we do is we try to do a lot of movements with, for example, in the first big picture is that's just a song that we're singing with the students. And of course, because we try to put a lot of comprehension input, so we try the students to understand, and they won't be understand all the words. So we put movement. So if we're saying the baby, so we just put the baby movement like this, so the students move along with the song. And so, yeah, you can see that also on the right top as well. There is also movement. And on the bottom right, that's more free movement. Actually, that was just the students dancing. And then, also the middle one with that student, Riley, she's pointing some art. So I think we're doing the body parts, and we're saying, where, and that's a Picasso painting. So we are always trying to put culture in there, so the students can get acquaintance, even if they might know, Picasso, no, who is that, but at least they start seeing, some different artists that are, Spanish speaking, and also pictures of people that come from different, like, for example, we put pictures of llamas and Peruvian, persons, and, things like this, that are attractive with different colors, so just like I said, cultural things that they just like it, and, it's just to put a bit of the Spanish speaking cultures there.
Gracias, Senora.
De nada.
And now art with Mrs. Kanik.
Hi there. So my name is Mrs. Kanik, Linda Kanik, and this is my 4th year, I think, in Weston. I teach here at Hurlbut, and I also teach at the high school. So right now I'm teaching drawing and painting at the high school. So when we look at the standards on the left-hand side, these are the regular national standards for art. So it's creating and presenting, responding, and connecting. And then as far as the units go, in each grade level, so kindergarten, first and second, we are always looking at the elements of art. So line, shape, color, form, texture, value, and space. And that's something that we look at right through high school. When I'm teaching my high school students, we're still talking about the elements of art. We're just sort of building on everything that they know, and just kind of expand on that and make it a little bit more sophisticated as we go on. And so within talking about the elements of art, there are a whole bunch of other things that we're bringing in. And I'm looking at, with the students, I'm looking at different artists. And so we're looking at professional artists and seeing what they do. And so they can respond to that art, see what they can see in that art. How are they using line, shape, color, form, etc. And we also are looking at different materials. So we're using paints, we're using chalk, we use colored pastels, we use all sorts of things, markers, crayons, and different ways to use them. We've done printmaking with the kindergarten, and you've done a whole bunch of different kinds of things. If I can move to that next slide with the pictures, it's easier for me to explain what we're doing if we're looking actually at these pictures. So the first picture that is of that little caterpillar, really, we're talking about texture. And this is something that we're doing right now. This is with the kindergarten. And so we've been talking about Eric Carl and talking about how he works as an artist and how he does painted paper, and then he creates collages. And so that's what they were doing, creating texture on a paper with paint, and then we're letting it dry, and then they're creating their insects and putting it onto a piece of paper. If we move over to the second picture, I have color emphasized there. We're learning about the work of Romero Brito, and he is an artist who works now in Miami, Florida, and he does mainly pop art. So we've talked about the kind of work that he does, his use of color, of pattern, that kind of a thing. And so we're doing it in the style of him. And then the next picture is form. And so this is one that we're beginning this week with the second graders. And so we are actually going to, along those same lines of the pop art, we're going to turn that into a 3D sort of piece of work. And so they're going to be making 3D pencils. And so they're using it out of plaster craft. We're talking again about different artists that do this kind of a thing. And we're talking about Lucy Sparrow, who is an English artist who does pop-up stores, and she creates everything in the store. And so we're kind of getting that idea of creating an everyday object and turning it into art. Then the next picture of the 3/4 snowman, that's sort of an emphasis on shape. We really were talking about shape and line, and how I introduced this with the students is that you can make a snowman without using 3 circles. And so we on purpose did not use circles to create our snowman. And we looked at famous artists and how whenever they're doing portraits, they do what's called a 3/4 pose. So you never take a picture straight on of somebody. You always have them turn slightly. And so we've talked about that. I've had them look at different artists and how they've approached that and how they've created those 3/4 poses. And so they created their snowman not using 3 circles, and kind of giving them that sense also of a close-up of the snowman as well. And then the next picture we did with kindergarten, and that is line. And so there we've talked about how lines create everything. And I do a huge unit with the kindergartners on line at the beginning of the year. And so this one was done at the beginning of the year. And so we were using just a few basic lines, a straight line, a wavy line, a zigzag line, and a curved line, and ended up creating some kind of a sunset, some kind of a picture that shows a landscape. And so we were using that whole concept of line and how line is in everything. And we can even see line when we're looking outside. And then the last one is something I'm doing with first grade right now. And the reason why we're talking about space is because one thing that I find that little ones tend to do is you give them, no matter how big of a piece of paper you give them, they always draw really small. And so what I've done is I've kind of given them a little presentation of different artists who actually have done flowers and vases and how they've used their paper and how they've laid out work on their paper. And so we talked about the concept of composition. And so composition, I mentioned to them how there's composition in music, there's composition in English. You make a composition in English, you also have composition in art. And so it's how you arrange things on your paper. And so we talk about how to arrange their flowers so they're using the space really well. And then with all of the students K through 2, I've been really emphasizing craftsmanship. And so we've talked about what is good craftsmanship, what does it take to make something have good craftsmanship. And so I put these sheets of paper on their table all the time, and it kind of shows them what poor craftsmanship looks like and where we want to get to. And so depending on the material that they're using, they're little samples of what it can look like. So I encourage them to be reflective as they're creating their art so that they can go and look and see as they're working, see where am I on this craftsmanship rubric and how could I bring up the level of what I'm doing. And so they also have an opportunity to critique each other in a positive way. And so it's sort of something that I'm starting at kindergarten and working through to second grade. So by the time they get to WIS, they're going to be comfortable with looking at their own work, critiquing it, looking at works of others, critiquing it in a positive way, and enjoying the work that they're seeing.
Thank you, Mrs. Kanick. And Mrs. Rodko.
Hi there, I'm Sharon Rodko, and I believe this is my 26th year with Weston. That's hard to believe. I see your students once a week for 30 minutes, and during that time, we're covering not what you're used to in your library when you were growing up. The library has really changed over the years. So yes, we still have a wonderful print collection, and the students do come an additional 15 minutes a week to borrow books. But during their lesson time, we're fostering a love of reading. We are talking about digital literacy. We have some computer science going on. Our goals, of course, are to promote that lifelong reading, to foster critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity skills. And we're starting to build that foundation of computer skills. And all of this is to prepare them for the upcoming grades and life in general. So you'll see under our standards, we're informed by the American School Association of Librarians and the International Society of Technology Educators for our standards. And our units fit into all of them. And they span pre-K to, and we build on each of those years. If you look under our units, we do a book election every year. It's a state book election, and it's tied into a lot of what goes on in the classroom where they're working on opinion writing. We have an amazing maker space that's actually going to get a bit more amazing. That information is to come. And many thanks to the PTO for a lot of the supplies that they donated to our makerspace. We work on coding with our robots. We talk about digital citizenship, how to be safe, kind, and responsible when using technology. And a lot of what we do in the library moves beyond the 30-minute lesson when I collaborate with the classroom teachers to support the content areas. I'll talk a little bit about our pictures now. So a lot of what we work on, no matter what the activity is how to be a good teammate, how to work together, how to collaborate. So in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see some of the students made posters about what it takes to be a good teammate, how you contribute and help your team achieve a goal. The middle top picture is signing our pledge to be safe, kind, and responsible when we're using technology. The upper right corner, you'll see those are our cubelet robots. And so we do some problem solving and critical thinking with robots that don't require a screen. And then we do move on to doing some block coding with our dash robots. In the bottom lower corner, you'll see our second graders are conducting their biography research right now, and we do use print and digital resources. The middle bottom picture is one of our makerspace activities. First grade came in and they were working on their fairy tale unit. So we were doing ways to help the fairy tale characters. We were rescuing Rapunzel. We were helping the gingerbread man run away, and we were building a new chair for Baby Bear. And it was a new thing that we tried this year, and it was so successful. I rolled it up into the second grade since they didn't have a chance to try it last year. And then the last picture is our book election. And we read the books, but we spend a lot of time talking about how you form your opinion. And we made posters to try to persuade other people to vote for the book we were hoping would win. So basically, we're laying some foundation skills to prepare them for their futures. We're fostering their reading lives and their ability to learn about their world and a responsible use of technology. So.
Thank you, Mrs. Rodko. And thank you to all of our special area teachers for taking the time out of their busy days today to talk to you. That we are so excited about what our students are able to do here at Hurlbut, and all of those foundational skills, just the excitement about being in these classes really builds here, so that as they move throughout their years in the Weston schools, whatever direction they decide to take, wherever their path leads them, they've had that foundation in all of the areas. So when you go to those high school performances and, we're always just blown away by what they're able to do, we start all of that here, building that confidence and those possibilities, which then leads to the seal of biliteracy, high school performances that are just, professional. They might become artists, and heading off to art school. So we want to really ensure that we're building that confidence, those skills, those foundations in every area, every day. So it really is unbelievable when I walk around the classrooms to see what our students are doing. And we're very grateful for the support that the town gives us. The arts really are, historically very important to the town of Weston, and they are supported in the budget by the whole community. And we're very, very grateful for that. So I know some of them have already dropped off. We do have classes starting or have already started. So some of our special area teachers had to sign off and go teach. We are hoping to do this presentation earlier next year in the year for PTO. So that, you get an idea at the beginning of the year where the curriculum is headed. So
Or one question that we get a lot on the executive board is, I know that there'll be an upcoming district-wide art show, and so the kids, parents will get to see that. But in terms of music, we always get asked, when is there, particularly in Hurlbut, when kids are not in chorus, a musical concert that parents can attend, like a holiday concert, or Thanksgiving concert in the class? I know it's tricky with the numbers and the security, but what's the best answer for parents now that
so those formal concerts and chorus in their schedule really begins at the intermediate school. So we do in-class performances here, building that confidence and performing in front of their peers, in front of classmates, in front of the school. And then in the intermediate school becomes a little bit more formal and becomes more a part of their schedule. The standards at this level for K-2 is within the classroom versus the larger performances. So at the end of the year parties, now that we're post-COVID, we started integrating that back into the classroom celebration. So they do they do a performance to their families within that classroom celebration. We also have we have some that we do throughout the year within our student bodies. So students are performing in front of each other. And, Patty can kind of speak to how that plays out in the intermediate school, but we're building that confidence and that comfort level here. Certainly we have students in the community who are, performers and do private theaters and things like that. But for us, we want to ensure that all of our students are building that comfort within their class here, so that then they're ready at WIS for those additional opportunities where the music program, becomes a little bit wider.
That makes sense. Thank you so much. Now
My pleasure.
Convey that message to everyone.
Mrs. Cadis, do you want to continue with your principal report while we're here?
Yes. So just looking ahead as we start looking at the end of the school year, which is rapidly approaching. Mrs. Falber and I are in communication. We'll be talking about our end of the year dates to make sure that we're not conflicting for families who may have students in both buildings. But coming up at the end of the year, we will be finishing up our writing celebrations. First grade has already had their writing celebration. We invite every family in to celebrate the phenomenal writing that's been happening this year. So you get a little insight into the curriculum, another opportunity to come into the classroom and spend some time with your child in their classroom. Kindergarten and second grade have those dates they're finalizing. And if you haven't gotten them yet, stay tuned for those. We are also looking at our field day dates in June. Our second graders will be visiting the intermediate school. We are, this is the time of the year when we always say we've got, 1 foot in this year, and we're also looking ahead towards next year. So we're starting to begin our class placement process for next school year. our parent input forms went out. So if you didn't submit yours yet, if you wanted to share anything with us, I will leave that open for today. We're going to be closing that out. And then we'll start the very long process of forming classrooms for next year. So a lot happening, very busy. Keep an eye on your email. We always send out dates, information by email multiple times. So if you missed it in one email, you'll see it in another one, but we always get everything out in writing. So lots of updates coming in soon. Mrs. Falber and I will be sending out our May email, which will have a lot of those dates in it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And for the WIS families that are on, all of our teachers are in SBA today, so we weren't able to get our specialist teachers, but we will definitely have them earlier next year so we can all kind of understand exactly what the kids are doing throughout the year. Mrs. Falber.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful presentation. I felt like I want our teachers to share as well. Hopefully we can do that in the fall. I'll just piggyback really quickly for the music program. We did do a big concert in third grade. Our third graders do have a big concert for all the parents, which we have not been able to do since 2019 when we counted that up. So this year was the first year in about 4 years. And then in fourth grade and fifth grade, students have the opportunity to be in chorus and orchestra and band for fifth grade. So we try to build on what they're learning at Hurlbut. This has been a really busy month. We have this focus this month has really been on sustainability and recycling. And we had a wonderful assembly last Friday, which was led by our fifth grade student council students, as well as some of our green team members. And we really talked about sustainability and recycling. And we had another wonderful bulletin board this month. We seem to have great bulletin boards. Thank you to Mrs. Kill and to Mrs. Woods. And we did a big, huge earth. And we put trash all over it. We trashed your earth because we were now taking it all off. And so we asked all the classes to make a pledge and how we can make the earth better. And every time we take off a piece of trash, that trash gets replaced by either a fish if it's in the ocean or a plant or a flower. So we're greening our earth and making it clean again. So that's sort of been a fun project that's going on for this week and next week. Our students are, as Mrs. Rabatham said, our students are all involved right now in the Smarter Balanced Assessments, and fifth graders in addition will also be working on the science, the NGSS. So as a sort of a celebration, we'll be having a big assembly on Wednesday, May 17th, where we'll have people doing tricks on BMX bikes. It should be really fun. And then woven through all the wonderful excitement will be messages about making positive choices and about anti-bullying. So we think it'll be a lot of fun. We'll be outside. We do have a rain date for that because it's an outside assembly, but we should, we'll get more out to you about that, but we're looking forward to that. As Laura said, as she said, we are still very active in the school year, but we are thinking about next year already. So we did send out a notice about placement. We got some good feedback from parents. And next year we are increasing a section in third grade and a section in fourth grade, as long as our budget goes through on Saturday, which is really nice because it'll bring our class sizes to 21 and 22 and not going right up to that max of 24 or possibly over, which we worry about every year with new student enrollment. So we're starting to work on that. And then we are talking about next year and looking at our end of the year activities this year, especially our transition years. So tomorrow night is Mr. Doak is kicking off a transition meeting for our fifth grade parents up at the middle school, really talking about what the middle school looks like and how their classes will change. And so that's tomorrow night. And then Mr. Doak and I talked already about making sure we take our fifth graders up to the middle school. We spend time for them to walk the building, to visit sixth grade classes, to talk to sixth graders and talk about their transition. And then we do the same thing here with our second graders. So they come up here and they'll be visiting, they'll be going into third grade classes, talking to third graders. We meet with them. Mr. Doak meets with our fifth graders. So we really try to make those moves as seamless and as smooth as possible. I know there's lots coming up. I know we have some field days and exciting things, and we keep trying to get that out to you. I know, Mr. Robotham, I think you put some of those dates on a slide later on. So it's a busy time. It's a fun time. The weather's been so far really good, a little chilly, but good enough to get outside and have a lot of fun. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Falber, are your input forms also still open for an extra day or two?
I will check with Cheryl, but we had asked for them to be in by Friday. So I don't know whether it's closed. If it's still open, it will be closing today. I can double check.
All right, Stephanie.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. We had the circus that you heard about all year, and it was so fantastic. It was so much fun. We were rained out from doing it outside, but we were able to quickly pivot and hold it in the middle school gym. So the picture on the right, you can see that this was like a full-on circus. We had an aerialist, we had clowning, we had hula hooping, we had, I don't even remember, there was so many presentations and acts. It was just great. I think the kids loved it. The parents loved it. We had concessions. Everybody got popcorn and cotton candy, and the room was decorated in balloons, and just the energy and the joy of the kids and the families was really special and memorable. One of the most exciting
fantastic, Stephanie, fantastic. It was such a great day.
Thanks, Mrs. Cadis. So one of the most exciting parts of the circus after the performances was that the kids got to do a ton of interactive stations. So they got to actually walk on a tightrope. They had the opportunity to try stilts. They did the Diablo. They got to learn a hula hoop routine. There was the whole gym was just covered in stations. And I was very nervous about how all the kids would get a turn and whether people would be in lines, and it just worked so seamlessly. Everybody got to do everything. We even had parents trying the tightrope and the stilts, and it might become a Hurlbut tradition. It was really special, and thank you to everybody on the PTO board who put in so many hours to make this a really, really successful event. So that was our Circus Spectacular. Our benches that the walkers use, and most often the parents sit on waiting for the walkers, they were not in good shape, and your PTO really wanted to replace them with something beautiful that represents a really happy entry to our school and also something durable. So this has been a long time coming in terms of getting them installed, but you can see the state of our old, pretty worn out, dilapidated, decaying benches. And we now have beautiful new green polywood benches, and please go sit on them and just enjoy the carpool loop and our beautiful garden circle. We're really excited that the PTO, through a philanthropy request, was able to make this possible for Hurlbut. So you have been seeing things come through your email, but Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week is coming in May, which is right around the corner. Our chairs have an incredible week planned where every day there's going to be something special for the teachers. Everything from a food truck to a breakfast buffet to, treats and flowers and balloons. And they've been working really hard behind the scenes. And simultaneously, we have been working on renovating the teacher lounge. So all of this is only possible with some extra donations. Our budget only covers some of what we would like to do for our teachers and staff, but to make everything, come to pass, we really do appreciate anything that anybody can contribute. We now have a Venmo. It's very exciting. And so it is super easy. You do not need to go through the tedious process of league athletics. You can just Venmo a donation and it will go directly to the things that we're planning for our teachers and staff. And something that's really nice about this is it takes the burden off of individual parents of feeling like they have to do something and, feeling compared to what other kids in the class do. This is from the PTO on behalf of the entire student body and on behalf of all the kids and parents. So here is a picture of the lounge. The left side, it looks like, I don't know, something you might see in a very old hospital. We painted over April break, and our chairs of our renovation committee are working on everything from new tables and chairs to new curtains to a new couch, rugs, plants. So it's a little bit of a phase-in process, but it's going to be pretty spectacular, and the teachers are incredibly excited and super appreciative. So every donation really helps us do as much as we can in the space that they use as a real retreat during the day. We are really excited to unveil this. This is for WIS parents as well, but the PTO has been, thinking very hard about how to build more community across the district. And so something that all 4 schools are going to be doing is presenting students with moving up gifts. It's something that, has been done in the past, but we are introducing these pennants, and they are going to represent each school. And our idea is that the kids, as they go through all 4 schools, will be collecting their pennants. So by the time they graduate in high school, they will have their rooms or, their playrooms or their basements decorated with pennants that represent their time at Hurlbut and WIS and the middle school and the high school. And it will be a really special, kind of token of moving up school road. So we, Hurlbut will be presenting, our second graders with a special gift. And, I know WIS has something similar planned for their 5th graders. And so we just wanted to share what this will look like, and that it's not an isolated pennant, but save it, hang it, because there's, 3 or, 2, depending, more to collect. And we are also doing something a little bit different for our field day t-shirts. We're going to make them a little bit more like decorative and memorable. And this t-shirt is what's going to be handed out to our 2nd graders to get a very special field day, which is a little bit different than the field day for our, younger students, but they too have a specially designed t-shirt this year. And I am now going to quickly turn it over to Jenny to present our finalized board slate. She has worked incredibly hard. This is a multi-month process to get really dedicated and enthusiastic volunteers lined up so the PTO can continue to be as strong and successful that it has always been. Jenny. Something might have happened to Jenny. Well, here we are. This is the formal presentation per our bylaws of our executive board. I won't take up the time to read through the names, but let me tell you, this is a dream team. Everybody in these positions just brings so much enthusiasm and talent that I cannot wait to see all that the PTO will do next year. So we are really, really thrilled to have everybody on board. The next slide shows our general board, and something that we've done a little bit differently this year is build out a lot of committees. So what you see here are the chairs of each category, but there are many other volunteers already lined up. So everything that is done next year will be as robust as it possibly can be. So again, thank you for all our volunteers. I now need to have a call for approval of the board slate that was just presented. Can I please have a first?
I'll first, Stephanie. It's Edith.
Thank you, Edith. And can I please have a second?
I'll second, Brittany.
Thank you, Brittany. All those in favor, raise your hand with an aye. Anyone opposed? All right, it's official. This is your PTO board for next year. I'm excited. Thank you.
Awesome. Great slate. It's going to be really, really awesome for Hurlbut next year. Congrats to everyone. All right, we are moving on to WIS. So we have our staff appreciation is the same week. The district celebrates it all together. Each of the schools tries to do something similar for each of all of the staff. So this year, Catherine Studwell has taken on the role, and she has a great week planned for our WIS staff with a little extra surprise that we're throwing in there. We're very excited about. We also have a Venmo at WIS PTO. Any donation is greatly appreciated. This will be going out to parents at the beginning of next week. So if anyone wants to donate, they can do so for that. Our field days, the dates for field days, 3rd and 4th grade, Wednesday, May 31st, 5th grade, Thursday, May 25th. There are rain dates for those, but I'm just going to keep those dates for now with, fingers crossed on the rain dates. The 5th graders have a very special field day, lots of surprises for them. It's very fun. I'm excited for them for that one. So there's that. This is the BMX show that Mrs. Falber was talking about. We are so excited, the PTO, we're so excited to bring this to the school this year. There's a little 1-minute video of what happens, and I'd like to show everyone so they can kind of see what goes down. So cool. I'm so excited for this. And, Debbie DeLong found this over the summer, and this is really her brainchild. And it was just such a brilliant catch. So we're pumped for this. I think the kids are going to be really excited to see it too. So that.
Hey, Maria, can I just add one thing?
Yeah.
This presentation that these guys are going to come in and do is not just about let's go ride our BMX bikes and be really fun, but what really struck me when finding them was their core messaging of being kind to all, anti-bullying, because as I'm sure everybody's heard, as the kids get older through the school system, the social interaction between the kids sometimes can go sideways. And so the school system supports this decision to have this group come in because we're really trying to impact the kids at the younger ages about how supporting each other and being kind and embracing each other's differences is really important to share with children at the younger ages. So as they grow older, they take those messages with them. So this group, in talking with them, it was really fascinating to see how they interact with the kids and support the school's mission to encourage children to just be kind and get outside and be active and to get off their devices and, realize that what they say impacts, it's not just what you type on a computer. So I'm really happy that this was able to come through. So thanks to Mrs. Falber for making this all happen. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so great. Thank you, Debbie. Then next up, oh, we don't need to play it again. Sorry. All excited. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. The 5th grade moving up ceremony. All of the students will be together this year. They're not splitting up into 2 groups. It's all one group. It's Wednesday, June 14th from 9 to 10:30 a.m. As Mrs. Falber said, she'll be sending more information out. And then the breakfast is graciously provided by the 4th grade class. So 4th grade parents, you'll start getting information about that shortly. And this is the sweet little Weston Middle School pendant that the 5th graders will be given as they move up to the middle school, which I just love this idea. We've really, the presidents this year and last year really have pushed towards a cohesive Weston spirit. And this is all part of that. I think it's really, really fun. And it's a great little token to take with you. And our board slate, I think Jen Rubin had to pop off. So Stacy, are you?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, Jen's on. Okay, Jen, awesome. if you would just present it, you don't need to say everyone's name, just present it for approval.
Oh, I'm presenting the 2023-2024 PTO board slate for approval. Can I have a first, please? Do you want me to say the executive board, Maria, or no?
No, the people can read it. I think it's okay.
Debbie, I'll be a first.
Thank you, Debbie. Can I have a second, please?
Chris is a second.
Thank you, Chris. I think we're good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Jen. I just want everyone to take a peek. There are some open positions, and we've sent an email to the second grade parents moving up, third and fourth grade parents. These positions, if not filled, don't happen. So we really need some people to call and ask questions and see if they would be willing to step in and join in the fun that we have on the board. In the email, Jen also included a little bit of information about each of these positions, time frame, and everything else. So if you're interested, reach out to Jen. You can always ask Debbie questions, myself, and we will move on from there. So the next couple of slides have to do with all of the schools. The district-wide art exhibition is back. I have to say, this was one of my favorite nights. You get to go into the schools and see artwork from all 4 schools. So you can start at Hurlbut and see the kids' artwork, go to WIS, go to the middle school, and go to the high school. And it is just a great night celebrating the creativity that our kids get to do during the year. And it's really fun. So that more information will be coming from the schools about that, but write it down on your calendar. Yes, questions?
Nope.
Okay. The Memorial Day Fair, the ride bracelets, pre-sale ride bracelets packages are on sale. The sale ends on Saturday night for the pre-sale. After this, you'll just go to the fair and get your tickets when you're there. The ride bracelets are not going home in backpacks this year. You will have a separate window. If you ordered a pre-sale bracelet, you'll have a separate window to go to when you get to the fair. And that's where you check in. Your name will be on the list. If you bought multiple bracelets, you can still use 2 on one day and 2 on the next day. It's all filtered throughout our system. So you don't have to bring anything with you. You'll also be able to pick up any of the t-shirts or water bottles that you may have pre-ordered at the same time. An email will be going out to everyone who pre-ordered a bracelet or anything, a package with all of this information. So you don't have to remember it now. You'll definitely get an email in the coming weeks for that. Outdoor movie. Ladies and gentlemen, I am jinxed. And again, for the 3rd year in a row, it looks like rain. So I have already reached out to Mr. Galley at facilities to see if we can move the date. We weren't planning on having a rain date, but I really want to see this movie outside on a big screen. And I want all of our families to. So we're trying to move the date. I'm looking at it. It's not confirmed that we're moving it. We still have Saturday. I'm waiting until Thursday, maybe even Friday morning to see if the rain keeps pushing out to Sunday. But I will definitely keep everyone posted on what's going to happen with that. I really want this movie to happen. That is that part. Board of Ed update.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so the Board of Ed last week was centered around school safety, and this was a really long meeting. The conversation around school safety took 2 hours, and I don't know the number of parents that attended, but based on the comments that were said from the members of the board, it was the largest show of parents in the past, I think it's like 10 years. Nobody could really remember, but all that to say, a lot of parents showed up and a lot of parents had really strong opinions about next steps to take for school safety. It was a 2-hour conversation. So if you are interested in hearing more in the details, I highly recommend that you either read the meeting notes or that you watch the live stream, which is linked in the meeting notes. I'm going to just quickly summarize. All right, so there was 1 hour of public comments, and these were all from parents or community members. And all of these comments centered around how do we increase typically school safety. most parents named that they were in favor of looking into how to make sure that the Hurlbut and the WIS SSOs are armed, and that there was increased fortification of the building. Two parents were in opposition to armed security due to the mental health impact on students, and also because a pistol can't stop an automatic rifle. After parents presented, then the police department presented, which was really informative. They were excellent. They went over what measures are already in place, and then they moved on to potential measures to put in place. So they explained that SROs are typically only at upper schools. So they're at the middle school and the high school, and that SSOs, I don't know what those acronyms stand for, so you guys can look that up. But that SSOs are at the elementary school and the middle school, and SROs are typically armed and SSOs are not. Currently, another measure that's in place is Weston Police Force has 9 members, and currently 3 of them are on campus when school is in session, which is incredible. That's 30, thank you, Kelly. That is 30% of the police force. There also in schools are yellow panic buttons that alert the police to come to school immediately, which has happened by accident in the past, and they arrived very, very quickly. The school windows also have 3M window film that prevents bullets from, also this was a very emotional conversation for a lot of people. And even now it's just hard to talk about these things. So I'm sorry if I seem a little off. Even so, the 3M window film prevents windows from shattering if a bullet were to ever enter through a window, so that nobody could enter into a building. Additionally, the police department has provided task force training to the EMS and the fire department, who would respond with them if there ever were an emergency. And they have trained staff who are interested and willing in something called Stop the Bleed by applying pressure to wounds. There's also, as we all know, the screening system upon arrival. And when you give in your license, there are multiple databases that are searched, including database for people who have registered deadly weapons. And then there's additional measures that they just can't disclose for security reasons, and especially because this is a recorded meeting. Then they shared that there was a recent executive session where the police department went over 38 additional security measures that could be taken. And while the police chief noted we can always do better, and we'll always be able to do better, we also have to consider what's reasonable given the budget that we have. So for example, one thing that they did that had no cost was they had the captain's office be on campus during the school day, because there's 0 additional cost to that. They also highly encourage you to ask them questions. And I just want to name that after the presentation was over, they took parents to Hurlbut to show them certain measures that have been put in place. And this was at 9 o'clock, probably at night, which was pretty incredible. Then there were questions and comments from the board and the superintendent, and they also let parents ask questions, which is not typical at this point in the meeting. So some questions were like, what's the purpose of an SRO, which is to build rapport with students. It's more of a counselor-based role. They also talked about what it would take to arm the Hurlbut and WIS SSOs. It's possible, but it would take multiple steps. And then a big question was like, what do you as the police department feel that we should prioritize? And they named that due to the location of all the schools and the police department essentially being on campus, and the fact that there's 3 members on School Road during the session, that they believed, the police department named that fortifications they feel are more important to a school safety than arming the security guards. The superintendent also made a comment that while we have a lot of measures already in place, she feels that something needs to happen additional before September. And that stay tuned, because the conversation is not over yet. There were also additional things that were talked about in policy updates, like the suicide prevention policy was updated. That's summarized in the Board of Ed meeting notes, if you're interested in looking at that. And in terms of things that apply to Hurlbut and WIS, notes from the pupil services from Tracy Edwards noted that there's a new assistant director for grades 4 through 8 who started 2 weeks ago. And that the extended school year, if your child is participating in extended school year, you'll be receiving information in the next few weeks. And that's it.
Thank you, Laura. That was a very long, intense meeting. I was there. And you did a great job reporting it just now. So thank you for that. And next up, we have Edith with the Hurlbut March minutes. Oh, I can't access it. So I'm going to just give us a quick overview. Are you on mute? Oh, I'm going to unmute you, Edith. Okay. There you go.
I want to be able to see this. Okay, so last time we wait, I'm sorry. If I wrote notes for myself, where is this supposed to be?
It should be in your slide.
Okay, it's not in my slide. Okay. So last meeting, we talked about I don't remember what we talked about. I'm sorry. I have Rosen running around. Okay.
Hold on, let me see if I can see the notes, Edith.
Yeah, I took notes specifically so I wouldn't have to try to open this.
Did you put them inside of, hold on one second.
No, I put them at the bottom. Okay.
They're right there at the bottom.
You see them?
In the notes section, yep.
I don't see them. Okay. Hold on one second.
Here they are. Call to approve meeting minutes from a general meeting in March. The big topics: social, emotional teaching and support for kids, the ruler program, and more. Kelly, what did it say?
But the main thing is the ruler program that we talked about, and then how they're putting it out to each specific grade. And we spoke with the social workers and the we spoke to the social workers and some other people who are helping us with this. And that's it. Call to approve.
First, Kelly.
Second, Chris.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Edith. And
I think I'm presenting this too. I think I'm presenting for
WIS.
Shannon. Yeah.
Oh,
so the same thing we talked about.
If it's okay, I can present. I'm here if that's.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. And thank you, Edith, for your help with the minutes this month as well. And yes, just to elaborate on the WIS side of things from our last meeting, we had Vicki DeLuca, our WIS counselor, explain more how the ruler program is implemented in WIS. One thing that was interesting is these are at this age level, they are really looking into focusing on the blueprint, which is the fourth anchor tool, and how the appropriate choices the children are being taught to process and choose how to work through a problem. Let's see what else. We had Music Appreciation Month, Women's History Month. We were looking forward to, as we still are, Memorial Day Fair, Field Day, the yearbook deadlines, as well as the proposed slate was presented. So I will call for I'll make a movement to approve these minutes.
Yeah, first, Maria.
Thank you, Maria. And second,
Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Awesome. And Francesca. Oh, I think Francesca had to pop off. So I'm going to do the philanthropy reports for this. We have so many that we got to talk about in our executive meeting. I'm so excited about them. The first is this amazing book vending machine. So Mrs. Reines had been asking for this, and we finally got approval with a 50-50 split with Kiwanis. So they will be providing 50% of the cost, and then we will be providing the other 50%. The vending machine will be part of the LRC, and the kids can earn tokens. However, the school determines how they're going to do it. The classrooms, they'll earn a token, and they can take that token, drop it into the book vending machine, and get a book of their choosing from the machine. We love this idea. It's so great. The request is for $3,395. It was approved in exec. Kiwanis is paying the other half of this. So it was almost about 7,000 for everything, including the books. Do I have a first?
First, Stephanie. This is awesome.
And a second?
Second, Kelly. Love
Great.
it.
Yeah, it's really cool, right? Super fun. Thank you so much. The next request is field day sports equipment. Ms. Chakowski has asked for some new items to put into play for field day. There's a pipeline relay race, 2 sets of 15, hula hoops, 2 sets of 12, and bean bags, 4 sets of 12. The request is for up to $500. It's been approved in exec. Do I have a first?
First from Chris.
A second?
Second, Stephanie.
Thank you. We will let Ms. Chakowski know this is great. We need some new equipment for field day. And the next request is to 1-year ruler subscription for Mrs. Falber, which we just spoke about in our last meeting. Ruler is the systemic approach to social and emotional learning developed at Yale. The subscription will give access to courses, newsletters, webinars to help the staff support students and families. The subscription also gives access to conferences at a discounted rate. The request is for $1,000. It was approved in exec. Do I have a first?
Stacy first.
Thank you. And a second.
Shannon.
Thank you, Shannon. So many wonderful things going to play. I love it. And Stephanie, are we passing through the treasurer report? Are we doing this one today?
Yeah, no, we're gonna have to put a pin in this. Our treasurer is abroad and we have some online banking access issues, but I believe our financials are in solid shape. We were able to actually cover the circus, which was initially a philanthropy request, but a very nominal ticket rate, actually covered that. And, we have had some philanthropy requests, but we have a lot left in the budget. So we are fiscally sound, even though I don't have specific numbers for you.
That's awesome. And you can always, like we chatted about, you can always report it in the buzz in the next week or so if we can get around to it. And Chris with the WIS report.
Thank you. We are coming into the home stretch of our year. Most of our direct fundraising is going to happen around the Memorial Day fair, so that's just starting. I'm not going to read the slides to you, but we had some income from the yearbook and from some apparel sales, as well as some corporate sponsorship from Memorial Day fair. One thing to point out, we typically run our family fun activities at a net loss, but we've had a couple of really great events this year that have exceeded expectations. So we're actually where we would normally run a net deficit, we've got a positive of almost $4,000 in our family fun activities. So that's great because one of our third-party fundraisers, Amazon, canceled their program this year. So perhaps that will make it up. And just in terms of our expenses, you can see we're a little bit over halfway through the year. So we are right on track. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. And Elizabeth for Hurlbut.
I believe Elizabeth actually had to pop off a little bit early, so I will present for her. We're still awaiting a specific date for field day from Hurlbut. There's like a lot of moving parts, but we're, everything is like, the ball is rolling and it's going to be really fun. Again, we do a separate field day for second graders and everyone will be receiving really specially designed t-shirts, which have all been ordered. And you should look out for some requests to volunteer. It's a great opportunity for parents to show up and, see all the kids circle through field day. And we're also hoping that the PTO will be able to find a little special something extra for the second graders, but we are awaiting on final approval. So we will keep you posted.
Thanks, Stephanie. Next, let's see. Oh, that's right. Livia had to jump off, but congratulations to Livia. She is now an American citizen. She took her test yesterday and passed, so that's always fun. The field day and 5th grade end of year celebration organization is ongoing. Livia and Francesca are working their tails off to make everything really super special. T-shirts have been ordered for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Requests for volunteers will be communicated soon by grade chairs and then room parents. So there's so much going on. Check your emails, check the buzz and the whistle. Make sure we'll put all the dates in those calendars and make sure everyone's ahead of the game for the next 2 months, if we can believe it. All right, guys, that's it. Our next meeting is actually the final general PTO meeting of this year, which is Wednesday, May 24th. And Assistant Superintendent Ms. Henkel will be presenting to us, and that will be a really great presentation from her. She did it for the middle school, and everyone really enjoyed it. So hopefully people can jump on for that. It will also be the first meeting of the new board, so that will be crossed over at the same time. We are always here if you have any questions, if you need to ask us anything. I will keep everyone posted on the movie this weekend.